Welcome to Lab 3, Ecological Regions and NDVI. We're going to open up ArcGIS Online and click Map to begin making our new map. First, as far as base maps go, here on this left side, today we're going to be using a combination of imagery, and for now, I'm going to use terrain with labels. And then up here, click this and turn off the reference so we only have just the terrain base and hill shade. That's just my personal preference for having something clean to start with. So we're first going to add the ecological regions of Utah, the level 4 ecoregion. So let's go to Arc Online and go to eco or just type in Utah ecoregions. And this one from Spencer Good 95, the level 4 regions is the one that we want. Okay, so we have that added to the map. So let's go to our layers panel and we can see it here. For our purposes, we're going to put a layer beneath this that's going to be NDVI satellite imagery and aerial imagery. So we do not want these filled in. So we're going to move to the right side of the screen in our properties, and we have a styles panel. You can also just click it from the properties and say edit layer style under symbology. It'll bring you there anyway. And then style options, we're using the types, unique symbols. And then we just click this color box here to change this. So we don't want a color fill. And we're going to need a unique color for each of the different ecoregions. So we can change these later if we need. So I'm just going to make it quick. It's going to be hard to see. I'm going to try and go for a little bit brighter colors in here. Okay, then we're done. Should have something that looks like this. I'll probably end up changing these colors later on. Now we want to put the NDVI imagery below the ecoregions, and we're kind of looking at how NDVI can kind of separate these boundaries, or how good of a predictor is NDVI of ecological regions like the Ramsey study we read. So make sure to be saving your map as you go. So now that I have that first layer, I'm just going to save as lab 3. Put it in my maps folder, save. Okay, we're gonna now pull, add another layer, and just click add, and we'll go to ArcGIS Online again. We're definitely gonna want the nape imagery, which is aerial. Let's do this one from Esri here. This is aerial imagery, which means it was mounted to a drone or an airplane. And we're also going to add in the Landsat and Sentinel NDVI imagery, which are satellites. So now we have this added to our map. can go back to our layers, and we want to make sure that this ecoregions layer is on top of the imagery so we can see the boundaries. So let's turn that off for now. Over here, again, we have our properties panel and the styles. So for our purposes here, we're going to want to classify the data and get these to look to kind of represent what the actual land cover might be, or the color, so to speak. Just make it more representative. So in style options, we have a color scheme, and we're gonna add let's do 8, and then we have this here. We know that water does not reflect much of anything. It's really good. Water is super effective at absorbing light, especially the infrared, which plants happen to be really good at reflecting infrared or near infrared radiation. So because Great Salt Lake here is water, it's going to be absorbing a lot. So it's going to be 0 to -1 in this NDVI spectrum. So ultimately, all these different colors here are going to represent some type of land surface or land cover. We're going to click this pencil here, and you can see all these different color ramps and things to choose from. So something like this, you could say this would be the plant material and this would be water. We want the vegetation to be green, and this color ramp is not doing a great job of saying what's grassland, what's shrubland, what's dense tree coverage, etc. So what we're gonna do is if we scroll down, we see all these colors and the values, and we can change the color. So up here at this end, I'm gonna make it a dark green and then keep moving down and just making my own color ramp here. This one, let's make it like a brown, like grassland. We'll make it a lighter tan. And for reference, like I want the salt flats to be this tan color. So right now we're gonna have to play around up here with the ramp to get it how we want. At the bottom of the spectrum, we're gonna have it blue for water. Great Salt Lake, we know it's water, and you can use a satellite imagery base map to right now we have our terrain map, but you can use a satellite imagery map to kind of guide you on some of the land cover. So we want this to all be blue, right? Generally speaking, this is pretty good representation of what's vegetation and what's not vegetation or dense forest. So I think we could probably leave it at that. There you go. So that is the NAIPS imagery. You can see it follows these ecological boundaries pretty well. This would be representing some shrub and grasses, and then as we move up, some dense forest. So here we're seeing something interesting. So this is all of that white granite in the canyon. Um, and here it's represented as blue. So we might need to play play around with our style options here and not have blue represent this stuff up here. Let's go ahead and add the Sentinel and Landsat imagery now. Okay, let's just, we have this raw and then this color map. Let's get both of these. And again, we want these ecoregions to be up top. Get this time stamp out of the way. This will tell you the how it's changed, that temporal aspect over time. Um, but let's go ahead and turn it off by clicking this clock. It's just raw imagery. Let's see if we can play around with the raw. Make sure you're clicked or highlighted over this here. So again, we're going to want to classify style options. I'll just make 6 classes this time. And then what's cool about this is that we actually have a scale that's the NDVI scale. So at the top one, right, zero point 0.6 to point to 1 or zero point 0.9 is going to be dense vegetation. So again, let's just color these. Let's get a dark green. 0.6, that's going to be our dense vegetation. So we can move that value and actually know more precisely. And then point 2 to 0.05 is going to be some grassland or more sparse vegetation. So let's bring that up to 0.5. And then anything 0.1 or less is is water or snow or anything rock, right? Anything that's not vegetation. Get those according. So for zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5, let's make these like a tan color. Let's make this a blue for water. It's kind of be our shrub and grassland. At the end of the lab, what we're gonna do is go ahead and export this, and we can just go to these 3 dots and print. And we're gonna want the entire state of Utah. I'm gonna make mine portrait. Hit export. There we go. You can make these lines thicker and then also change the colors so that they stand out more. And then here's our scale. This will do for this lab. And then just turn in your PDFs, download them. You should turn in 3 for this lab. So one would be the nape imagery, one would be the sentinel imagery, and the third would be the Landsat imagery.